me. You know, I had a lot of brothers, and man, I loved them so much. We were really close, super close.
For sure. Well, I mean, I only knew so much, but, you know, I just saw you guys in the ring and stuff like that. And, you know, there's been a lot of documentaries and smaller documentaries. There's been the Claw movie. So there's been a lot of, you know, references to you guys for sure.
Yeah.
Your father was from Texas, and he was a wrestler. So I'm assuming that's where you guys all kind of got into it.
Yeah.
Just even knew about it.
Yeah. This is, you know, it's kind of an ugly turn. I don't want to bum me out, but my dad was living up in New York, and we were all living up there, and I was a baby, but my brother Jackie was like 6 years old, and he touched a house trailer that had a short in it, and it killed him. It electrocuted him, knocked him out, and he hit a puddle of frozen, water was frozen. He drowned under the ice, you know, and broke my dad's heart. My mother, you know, it just killed him. You know, I can't imagine. I have sons, you know. That I tell you, Theo, I lost my brothers, and that was hard, but I could not lose a son.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't get up. I couldn't stand on my hind legs, you know.
Did they have to go to therapy and stuff like that when that first happened to your, because I guess that was your oldest brother.
Yeah.
Did they have therapy back then and stuff like that, or what did you?
No, there was no. They did. My dad was like a rock, though. You know, I couldn't believe he didn't want my mother to suffer, so we wouldn't suffer around her. But I'm sure my mother suffered so much. And also, when she got married, her little brother David died of a brain hemorrhage thing. You know, what do you call it? A brain tumor. And so, just like a year later, her son dies too. Oh. You know, so it was just bang, bang. You know.
I mean, and at those times too, things. I think there was more. Probably tragedy at those times. You know, things were, you know, you'd have a lot of people had a lot of children, and a lot of them working farming, and people would get injured a lot. There was just, I think it was a different time probably when it came to safety and stuff. So yeah, so your family had that. Yeah, so your parents had to deal with that so early, man. Yeah, I guess people suffered in silence more back then, huh?
Yeah, people were tough, you know.
They were.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, that you brought up the movie, and I mean, the movie was like. I heard a lot of people talk about it. It was like
the Iron Claw movie?
Yeah, that my dad was really hard on us, when the fact was, you know, that we were hard on each other. You know, we answered each other. It was like a brother thing, really. And you know, to tell the truth, the suicides and all, that was not because Fritz made us wrestle, or Fritz was a big monster or anything like that. That was shame. My brothers were ashamed with it. With Carrie was. You know, when you're in the public eye, you really feel a lot of pressure. You really do. You know, you don't want to let those kids down. And when something happens, you know, you do feel like you really let them down. And you know, I don't know, everybody's not like this. Sometimes you just can't forgive yourself. And Carrie just couldn't let it go.
And yeah, Carrie was one of your brothers. I know you had David, Carrie, Jack, Chris.
And Mike.
God, that's all the boy names they had at the time.
Yeah.
Y'all couldn't have had another brother, because what were you going to do?
It'd have to be a girl.
Yeah, it would have had to have been a girl by default, man.
Oh, we wanted a girl so bad.
Did y'all? Did your parents?
My whole life, I never knew anything about girls, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
y'all had enough beautiful hair in that family. At least you got an idea of how to use it.
Go figure that one. Golly, I know. What's with that? I never took care of myself. I never expected to live past 50, you know?
Oh, I bet.
I was having fun my whole life, you know?
Oh, I bet. But y'all had so much dang hair. Y'all were y'all would have been considered beautiful, tall trans women these days. Y'all would have been, because you guys were ahead of your time. Even like all the rock bands in back then remember Poison, all those bands, they had the big hair.
That's the truth.
Did you guys have
hairdos?
Y'all had some hairdos. Was that something like a pride? Was that almost like a lion's mane type of thing amongst the guys in your household? Or what was that like for you guys? Because you guys had some great hair.
No, you know what? It was just laziness, to tell the truth. I mean, you know, I cut it to keep it out of my eyes, you know, but then I cut my own hair, you know, because I'm not paying that kind of money.
I can tell, dude. I cut my own shit.
Yeah, well, I can't see the back, you know. I don't have a mullet on purpose, you know. But I can cut this up here, you know.
So your dad, I do want to know a little bit more about him. So you said that the film kind of portrayed him as being more of a stickler. But what was he like? Was he a businessman? Was he quiet? I mean, I guess he wasn't quiet because I could see like his wrestling persona, but was his home persona like, well, I guess what was he like as a father and what was he like as a businessman?
But let me tell you, my dad was like a mountain of a man. He was really full of love, God, but I mean, he was serious. And when he wouldn't say anything. And like, before you go to sleep at night, you think, oh man, I wish I'd have said that. Wish I'd have thought of that. Well, he thought of it right then. And he would say it right then. And,
at night, you mean?
No, I mean like whenever
the
he subject came up, whenever he thought of it, it was just right there. I thought, man, perfect answer. But I mean, he was the president. Okay, that movie, The Iron Claw, where Fritz says, the NWA always wanted to screw me, kind of like, but the truth is he was the NWA. He was the president, and he was the other wrestlers, I mean, world champions. I mean, when my dad came in the room, I mean, they were like rolling on their backs like dogs.
They respected him?
Well, I mean, Or
they feared him, like, because his business acumen or just?
I think it was his business acumen. I really do. And the way he stated himself, he didn't ever pop off. He didn't ever brag. He always had the accurate thing to say, that not too much emotion at all, just business. And people respected that. I think in the wrestling business, we have a lot of personalities, the big egos, and sometimes these guys don't want to do something, And but my dad had the respect, and it made a great business. It's just, I think you have to have that in you. Myself, man, you can talk me out of anything, Oh, is that all the money you have? Well, I'll take less. I know why I'm like that. We're not like my dad at all. He was great.
He was a business guy.
He was, yeah.
Did you feel like you had to be a wrestler in your family? Like, was it?
Well, the truth of it is, my dad didn't want us to wrestle, In fact, he was his finger was stuck, and his hands didn't move right. And
he probably walked around like a damn crossing guard.
Oh, God, he was. In his lower back and knees. And so, I actually said to my sons, you don't want to do this, I promise. Here we are in Hawaii, and I can't even run on the beach. And I was a high hurdler, I used to high jump over my head, and I love to move. But a day comes, where you traded that away, So I told my boys, you don't want this, you really don't. And but you can't tell them that, they were just like I was. I wanted to do what my dad did. I thought he was great. And so did my brothers, We thought everything he did was great, we thought. And that's why I wanted to do like that. I'm sure my sons are thinking the same stuff,
Well, I think there's something inside of a son. You just want to make your dad proud. You want him to look at you and just feel a sense of pride.
That goes deep. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably the deepest thing that there is.
Me too.
I don't think there's anything less. I mean, you ask anybody, do you feel like your dad's proud of you? It's like that, it really takes them to a place when they're thinking about that or answering that,
Yeah.
Which one of you guys was kind of the leader of you guys as brothers?
Well,
and I know sometimes it goes by age, right? Because there's always
I was the big brother, and no doubt about that. But my brother Dave had a real responsibility streak. My dad would come to him and say, okay, I want this fence I want it to go down there 200 yards, and I want a good post, or I want it double fenced, and I want everything just right. And he'd tell Dave. And so Dave would tell me and Kerry what to do.
He's the foreman.
Yeah, he's the foreman. Yeah. And kind of worked that way in wrestling too. And he was good on the microphone too. It's important. You got to be good on the mic.
Was there a time where all of you guys were wrestling at the same time?
Yeah, just briefly. It was, man, that was so much fun too, because we never got to go to Japan together. Dave and I went to Japan together, and Kerry and I went to Japan, never together though. But when we could all three to be together, just when we first started out, for that first year, all three of us could go to towns. We had so much fun, man. We always would stop. We'd scuba dive all the way there. If there's clear water, if it's just a river or something, we'd dive in and swim. It was just...
along the way?
We had fun all day. And we wouldn't even go to the dressing room. We'd get dressed out in the woods where the swimming hole was, and we could get our wrestling stuff on, go right to the show, get in the ring, come back out and wear our stuff, you know. We had it down. We had fun.
And you got a leech in your tights, brother. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, don't call it that. You know? Did you all train together at home at a certain place? Like, what was that kind of?
Yeah, we had a gym outside the house and on an adjacent property. And I'm probably the cause of all the pressure because I would put up Vince Lombardi posters all the time for myself. You know, I wanted to be the best I could be. And that was what it was like to live in my home. Back then it was like we lifted weights or 3 times a week, but we ran, we swam. Everything was about getting better because I wanted to play in the NFL. And Carrie, Carrie just wanted to wrestle. But and Dave wanted to wrestle, but I was a football player, and so that's what it was all about. It's just do your best. The quitters never quit. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. You know, that kind of stuff. I had posters everywhere on the gym, and we'd spot each other and push each other and call each other sissies if we couldn't do it. You know, and I mean we would spit on each other. You know, we were savages, and we wanted to get good as we could be. And when we wrestled, it was hard. You know, we were rough because anything worth doing is worth doing right. You know, we wanted to be like successful as my dad was, but it would meant just go all out, you know, completely commit. And that means every day. On Wednesdays, we run 400 meter, one lap around the tracks, 400 meter. Mm-hmm. We'd run 5 400s on Wednesdays. We'd time them. And Carrie and I, we're both high jumpers. Carrie high jumped too. And we could bench, Carrie and I figured as long as we could bench twice our weight and high jump over our heads, then we'll always be in shape. And for knee surgeries and all, you can't do that again. But that was the theory we wanted to go with. And Dave was the same. Dave didn't work out in the gym as hard as we did, you know, but Carrie and I did. Everything we did was to exhaustion. And I mean, where you're kind of nauseated. When you think you're about to throw up, now you've done enough.
Dang.
We really did, man. It was all the way.
I quit way before that, I realized.
Yeah. Well, everybody does, man. If you want to look different, you have to do what everybody else doesn't do, you know? And I mean, fight through that.
And were all of your brothers kind of subscribe to that same mentality, or did some of them come along just because with that mentality, just because they were your brothers?
No.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah. I guess, nobody was just along for the ride. Yeah. I think they were all pretty much just wanted to be like, me, Dave, and Carrie wanted to be like Dad, but, you know, things got kind of different when we were kids. When I was in junior in high school, sophomore in high school, my mom and dad were going to get a divorce, you know, and my dad was going to move out. So my freshman year is what it was. And I came into the kitchen one day, my mom and dad are talking, and Dad said, Kev, I'm going to move to Dallas and just get an apartment. And y'all are going to stay here, and it's going to be just great. Y'all go to school and come see me on the weekends. And I said, are y'all talking about a divorce? And he said, yeah, son, we are.
He's trying to describe it to you without saying
I said, well, I want to go with you, Dad. And Dave heard me, and Carrie came in and said, we do too, Dad. We want to go with you. And so my mom's going to be there alone, it looks like, you know, and I guess but I was the mediator with that, you know, and they kind of worked it out. But with the deaths, you know, then my mother was kind of damaged inside. It made her like, she was suffering so much. She, you know, with Dave, she was tough. I mean, like her own little brother and Jackie, but then with Dave, she toughed it out, you know. But then baby Mike, he was the baby of our family, you know. Chris was even younger, but Mike was we'd been traveling around and we weren't home that much. So when Mike was the baby, you know.
Traveling with wrestling? You guys had been traveling with wrestling?
Yeah. See, the movie doesn't have the suit, but Dave and Carrie were both married, you know. And Dave had a daughter, died a crib death, but Carrie had 2 daughters, and Holly and Lacey, and beautiful, sweet daughters. They spend every Christmas with us, and we told you I got the big house for all to have our Christmases, and because family is just like we were saying. There's nothing more important than family to me. after any thinking man. And then again, there's the being wrestlers and our brothers. I mean, my dad's a bad guy, and they're booing him. It kind of makes you feel like it's us against the world, These people are booing my dad. If they hate him, then we hate them too,
Right.
And
what was that about? So because at what point did the audience turned on your father? Or just part of the...
No, he was like the perfect bad guy.
Yeah.
He was a Nazi. And after my brother Jackie died and they're up in New York, he was like, his wrestling changed. He was different. He was wild inside. And I think it was like he wanted to just take it out on people. And it showed in the ring. Theo, when the wrestlers would come out of the dressing room, get in their cars, the fans would stand around and boo, from a distance. But when my dad came out to get in his car, silence. They were like, fear. It was like fear. He might run over here.